This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by NewHampshireFreePress.com. Late 2008, New Hampshire Free Press publisher Kat Canning enters the belly of the beast and prepares for an arrest. Her crime? Briefly refusing to leave an IRS lobby. But Kat, we haven't really talked much since you got out back then about all the stuff that happened to you while you were in the Boscowen jail. Now, I reported on it from remotely, but we just never got around to interviewing you about it, and I found out more about it later. Can you tell me a little about how you were treated when you got to the jail at Boscowen?
Well, I walked into the jail and they sent out this butch woman to frisk me and stuff. And she starts barking out orders left and right and was pretty mean. And so I just quit doing what she asked me to do. So she went off and got this other man, and they took me into another little room and they threw me down on the cement and, jammed my face into the cement. They ripped off my belt and she took my wedding ring.
They returned it?
Yeah, after I got out, I got it back. Then they started to leave the room and the guy warned me to not move an inch. And so they left and I sat up and got up and walked around. Eventually they came back and I was in a room with a lot of glass and there was no bathroom or anything in it, so they said they were going to move me to a different room that was more comfortable, so I went with them. And they locked me up there. It still had glass, so I was stuck in there for a couple of days, going to the bathroom in public and stuff. The first night, the guy that slammed me into the pavement, cement in there, he came in and was trying to talk me into processing, giving him all my information and fingerprints and everything. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. He starts trying to scare me into doing it. And I said, no. I told him he was like a Nazi guard, and I told him that he was the only person that had ever done any physical harm to me in my whole life. So he stomped off, and about once a shift somebody would come in and try to get me to fingerprint and everything, and I'd tell him, no, I don't need to fingerprint things. They'd go away. And eventually the common room, where people could sit and look into my cell, they got it all cleared out, and then like 5 guards came in with the video camera. And he told me in essence they were going to beat the shit out of me unless I did what they told them. So I didn't really feel like getting beat up anymore, so I fingerprinted and all that, and they threw me in the general population.
Did you eventually give them the information?
Yeah.
And how long were you in there?
2 weeks.
Now, I know that there's one, maybe 2 small protests outside the jail where your husband and daughter came out to object to your detention there.
Yeah.
And that was actually, I think, the only protest I can think of where our guys were forced to leave, at least leave part of the area.
Well, that had happened at Cheshire County Jail once, too.
That's right, it happened to me at Cheshire. Now that I remember it, I got forced to leave Cheshire County Jail once.
Yeah, they told me the cop came and said they were trespassing by being on the side of the road. And Russell decided to leave because he didn't want, both of us in jail at the same time.
Right.
guess the boscowen cop followed him all the way out of town. It was kind of threatening.
What do you think is the most constructive thing, someone watching this doesn't like the way the government's operating? What do you think is the most constructive thing they can do about it?
If they don't like the government?
Yeah.
Whatever presents itself, as long as you're doing some little thing. It doesn't matter if it seems small to you, stand up to them. My daughter will tell the cops no. She's like the quietest, shyest person on the planet. And it's really funny to see him flummoxed when this little girl's telling him no. If she can do it, other people can.
All right, thanks, Kat.
Sure.